Hello, my name is Shelby. In this tutorial, I'm going to be walking you through the digital product workflow tracker. So I have it pulled up here on the screen. When you first open it, you will need to copy it into your own dashboard. So you can see this duplicate button at the top, press duplicate. If you're not already logged into Notion, it'll prompt you to do so. And if you need to create a Notion account, it'll also prompt you to do so. It'll ask you where you want it. So I'm going to open it up here. So this is the tracker here. There are these instructions here for you, letting you know that you'll want a product by pressing this new page button. And there's also going to be a link to this tutorial video so you can easily find it. So we can also open up just the tracker here if we want by pressing open as full page. And then I'm going to go through an example with you of what I would put in if I was using this. Now, the great thing about Notion is that it is completely customizable. So I've put in what I believe would be helpful, and I can show you a little glimpse of what my tracker looks like. I'm in the clip art niche, and so I've included some extra things that aren't here, but that you could also add in. So I'm going to show you how you can easily customize it. So my workflow looks like I would go and I would find a trend that I want to work on, or decide on a product that I would want to work on, and I would add it to this tracker. So let's say that I want to do a baseball birthday invitation. I could put the date that I started the process, that I started making the template, or if I wanted to edit this, I could say date that I added trend so that I know the trend is relevant. So however you want to use that. Then it's going to default to the trend stage. And these stages are very important. They're pretty much the most useful part of this tracker, I would say, because it's going to automatically organize things into the stage that you're in so you can go right to that spot. So it's going to default to trend. You could change that to foundational if you wanted. I'll show you quickly how to change the template. So you would press this arrow. New product, here is the template that we have. Press these three dots, and then you could change the stage here. So anything you change here, that's going to be the default. Maybe you want to change it so it's dates added from trend or date that I started working on it. Everything is customizable here. We also have a little to-do list here if you wanted to change that. Here, you're changing the template. So when you go in and you do a new page, this will be different every time. You don't have to press save. You just have to make your changes and clicking out. So let's say that I found baseball birthday invitation. I found it as a trend. I used Insight Agent to find my trends. So if you're interested in that, I'll include a link below. Then I would have the product type. So here on my end, I actually have it as clip art pack, a single clip art image, or a seamless pattern pack, because those are the different types that I make. Or if it's a bundle, I'll also have a bundle. So you can edit these again. If you're making invitations, you're making gift tags. If we were talking about the birthday niche, you're making thank you cards. You could edit all those and just add them in. So let's say I want to say thank you card. You just click and add it. And then if you decide you don't want that later, you can delete it. You can also change the color of it. So those product tags can easily be edited. Right now I have it pretty simple. So either it's a single product you're working on or it's next. I love to map out my products in ChatGPT or another AI tool. I've been using Claude a lot lately, but either way, I'm using a tool and I'm mapping out what's going to be included. Let's say we were doing an invitation. What's the copy going to be on there? Just using AI to help us do things quicker. That's what I'm all about. And so I like to save my ChatGPT link here so that it's easy to refer to. Then you may want to save your template link. So if you're making something in Canva, you want to be able to easily resource it again, you can save the template link here. Your mockups, same thing. You can save the Canva mockup link so that it's easy for you to pull up. I work in Google Drive because I'm loading my clip art to Google Drive for my customers to access. So I put Google Drive here. Let's say you don't work with Google Drive. Let's say you do Dropbox. Very easy to change. I'll leave it as G Drive. Maybe I'll just put it as Drive. But easy for you to update and put what you need in there. Or if you don't even need a column, very easy to delete as well. Right click and press delete. Your download instructions, so that PDF that you give to your customers that has the link for them to access, we can put that here. And then if you want to put your product price, this is just so when you're going back and making it, everything's in one place. If you have notes, things that you need to remember about this product, where you last left off, it's easy to see them here. if you had a similar listing that you found on Etsy or on Pinterest that you're getting inspiration from, you can easily tag that here. And then trending keywords. Those are something I also grab from Insight Agent, and you can grab all your trending keywords and put them in here. So I'll give you a quick little snapshot of what mine looks like as a clip art seller. And just fair warning, it's busy because I use this product tracker every single day. It has saved me so much time. It has allowed me to not lose track of my projects. I used to just keep things in folders on my computer, and then months later I'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot that I was making that pack, and it just slipped through the cracks, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So let me just pull it up here. So I call it my product tracker, and it's sorted. So like I said before, it's sorted status. That is how this is set up. You could change that if you wanted. If you wanted to be sorted by something else, you can see this little sort button. So I have it sorted by the stage. On mine, it's called status, but it's the same thing. And it's ascending. So meaning that this is the order. So anything at the bottom, if I have now started that template, or maybe I'm planning it. So I'm planning it. I've added my ChatGPT link here. Then maybe I'm starting to create it. So the product is started. I can add my template link here. So you can see how you can change the product and add more things as you go, or change the status stage. So if we had more here, which I know I've only done the one product, if we had more showing here, then it would sort them, as you'll see on mine. So I have my trends at the bottom. So when I add a new page, it's the same thing. It's going to show me, it's going to default it as a trend. And then you can click on these. I can show you quickly my process. And if this is not helpful for you, you can feel free to turn this off now, but I'll show you what I do when I'm using Insight Agent, which used to be known as Insight Factory. So I search clip art and I find a pack I want to do. I've done a lot of these, so let me just keep it for a second. Post-it note clip art, cute. So I actually copy this. Actually, I always did this on Insight Factory, so let's make sure it works here too. I erase this and I press Control V. Okay, so it doesn't work like that anymore. If I did Insight Factory, it would have saved it as a link. But what I can do instead is I can go to View Details and I could grab that link. I think there's probably a way I could add it in here. Yeah, so I copied again and then press Control V and it added it. So it's a trend. Then am I going to make a single image with this, or am I going to make a clip art pack? I would probably make a clip. So then I put it as clip art. And I also have a second sort feature on. So you can turn on multiple sort features. Let me show you here. So the first one is the stage, and then the second one can be, well, I'll do that one here, so it's the same, the product type. So then when I'm looking at all the images that have been created, I'm also seeing them organized by the type of image, and that's helpful for my creation process. Okay, so we had, did it even go? Post-it notes. Then I could add in more information if I wanted. So I have recently added this trend status, which I would put, is it high sales volume and low competition? Is it high sales volume and high competition, which is a good time to do ads? That's why I put that on here. Or is it just low competition, but maybe the sales volume isn't as high either? And that's information I would get from Insight Agent. Then my price, same sort of things here. I have also added, because I work with quite a few image generators, I have also added one for which image generator I've used. So I know, okay, I've started that from Sora. It's easy for me to go back to Sora if I need to make more images, or if I left off halfway or something like that. Then we have trending keywords. I think that's also on the other one. I've added an extra similar listing, but other than that, this is mostly the same. And so you can see here, I have all my trends show up at the bottom. These I haven't started yet. I've just pulled the trend and I know it's something I want to make. Then I have my planning stage, which usually I've dropped the ChatGPT link in there. That means I've started brainstorming what's going to be in this pack, what is the color palette going to look like, things like that, which may look different based on what product you're doing. Then I've started to create the images. So again, I should be saving. I don't own everything, but I should be saving, where did I start creating them? I started creating them in Sora. So putting that in so that I know I can go back to it. Then for me, images created. And so these are kind of similar as what you see on here, but a little less. You found the trend. You've decided what you want to create next. So let's say you are spending a day, a couple hours, however long it takes, and you're grabbing trends, and you grab 10, maybe grab 20 trends. And then the ones that you actually want to focus on next, you can use the create next and it'll bump them up ahead of the trends. Then if you've started planning, like I've talked about, then if you started the product, you can do that, but maybe you've started the product, but it's not finished. You're going to throw in your template link so you know easily to go to it. Then the product created. And let's go back. I'll show you mine and we'll go back to that one. So I've created my images now. For me, this means I downloaded them yet. They're probably still in my image generator. Then this is where this is specific to clip art, and you may have steps that are specific to the products you're creating, but I upscale it. I have some more steps in here specific to creating images, but I would remove the background. If it's a seamless pattern, I would change the size and type, and then I would change the image DPI, and then my images are complete. And then the next step is I add them to Google Drive and I add them to Canva. And so I've kept that step also on the other one, but you could edit it if you're not needing to add anything to Google Drive, depending if you're just doing Canva mockups, or maybe you're just doing PDFs, you may need to edit these steps. Then creating mockups is the next step. And then I have freebies that I offer, so I've added that in, and then it's ready in drafts. And that's my favorite one to see because it means that I have a bunch that are ready to go that I can drip out. And you'll see the same thing here. So you're creating the mockup, mockups are done. If you want, you can map out your titles, tags, description, pricing, all of that ahead of time. Once it's ready in drafts, you leave it as that. And then when it's listed, it actually will, let's see, it should disappear. That's the way I have it set up on mine. So we can add a filter for the stage. You can see here how easy it is to. So we want to say is not listed on Etsy. So if something was listed on Etsy, which let's just change this so we can see it. I don't want it to show anymore, personally. You could always unclick that and then you can see all them again. So they're still being saved and stored. You're just not having it on your list. And then last thing I want to show you is you can add more notes in here. So if I open this up, as you saw in the template, I added this to-do list. So choosing the product, you could go along and check this for each product if you want. It'll give you a fresh list each time. You could also add in some information here. So maybe you want to add your insight factor. It's actually called Insight Agent now. Maybe you want to add your similar listings, your best-selling tags, your titles, your description. So kind of that tag that I had here, titles, tags, description, pricing, that would be after you filled out all this information here. You could also add it to the actual calendar if that's easier for you. Your product name could be your title. It's really endless how you want this to flow. The key here is having everything in one place so that when you are ready to work on something again, you're sitting down, you're opening up your tracker, and you know exactly where you left off. Nothing's falling through the cracks. You're not sitting at the computer and going, okay, what do I need to run next? You open it up. Okay, I'm going to work on, let's say, mockups today. These are the ones that are ready for me to do mockups. You're able to batch. It makes batching so much easier when you can see exactly where you've left off on things. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in our community, AI for Digital Product Sellers, or reach out to me directly. Have a great day.